Welcome everyone to MLS Matters. Today, Friday, May 8th. We are, I can't believe how many weeks in we're in this, 7 weeks. Everyone is coming in on Zoom today. We are all muted on entry, and that you stay muted unless you're going to be speaking, but you can use the chat feature and we will try and grab those and answer those as we see them. And then also letting you know this session is recorded, as with all the previous sessions, that you can go there and find the recordings, share them, and also there's all the resources we've been collecting of all the different members who are willing to share their resources, links to their website, so you can see what everyone else is doing. And also I wanted to let you know, MLS Matters is a member-only benefit for CMLS. We've only been sending the invites out to our members. So I appreciate you taking the time and sharing in the conversation, being part of the solutions. I'm Danae Evans, the CEO of CMLS, and I wanted to share today a little bit of celebration with all of you. Recently, there was conversation, it'll be going next week in front of the NAR Board of Directors, that a policy that we proposed earlier this year, we've been circulating it and discussing it since late last year. Actually, I think early last year it started. But this policy you see on the screen, and that's what we talked about last week, it did go through the MLS Issues and Policy Committee, I think is the whole name. And I just wanted to start by thanking the CMLS Board of Directors, thanking all of you, our members, for your input and conversation and discussion about helping to shape what this looks like, and also thank the CMLS staff, because you had a lot to do with helping to bring all these parts together. So just want to take a little moment and celebrate that. I know that CMLS members are already doing this, and I had a lot of feedback of like, well, duh, why are we not doing this? But I just want to point out that on that list of the 2013 list of 46 broker pain points, this was actually number 9 on the list. So I just want us to celebrate that we are working together to solve broker pain points. And while this was not actually a policy anywhere before, we did solve that together. Hopefully next week it gets approved by the NAR Board of Directors. But my goal with this, no more broad brush strokes of just lumping all MLSs together, that we are really elevating MLSs and the professionalism. And CMLS will be issuing guidance and best practices on this. We're hearing a lot of feedback that there's a lot of ways for this that's being accomplished. So we're going to collect all of that. You'll probably be seeing a survey next week, so we can start putting that together and issue, similar to what we did with the clear cooperation policy, that you can see if there's maybe something different you want to do, or there's other ways that it can be done, that you will have all that. And so appreciate your support in participating in that survey and looking at what those options can be as we continue to deliver, be the best partners with our brokers, and just efficient flow of data. So, and with that, I wasn't sure to do this today, but if any of you caught the recent post from Mr. Vendor Ali, I do have to tell you, this was already in my closet today. And Greg has come up with the new name for this feed, because apparently there isn't one today. And somebody recommended we could have some music today, but we didn't get that queued up in time. So my IDX. Thanks, Greg, as always. Okay, so next we're going to jump into, I want to start with a huge thank you to the people on this call today, because the topic for today is, what have MLS software system providers done during this crisis to adapt, and how are they fostering forward thinking in promoting positive change? That was a lot, but I think it's a great topic today. So I want to thank everybody who's joined us today. And I saw a survey yesterday done by T3, and I'm sorry, Clint, if I'm steering any thunder here, but they surveyed their MLSs and associations, and then it came back, are you satisfied, very satisfied, not satisfied, or dissatisfied? And it was like 99.99% were very satisfied or satisfied with their vendor. So I think one is a huge celebration of that result. And so I just collectively, I think as an industry, want to tell all of you, thank you for being such great partners and leading in our industry. So with that, I would like to kick off. I'm going to call it a little bit of speed dating today with each of you on the panel. We have 5 of you, so I think with our time. It's going to be fun, but I'd like to kick it off and have each one of you tell me what you think. What changes have you made at your organizations? And I know a lot of you, there's some similarities. A lot of you moved quickly and made these changes in general. But anything that was specifically noteworthy or slightly different that you'd like to share with our audience today that that your company did. But I'd also include in that, is there anything like you're still working on? Maybe you haven't been able to roll it out just yet. If you want to share that with us. And I was wondering if I could maybe start with Maddie from SBF, because I think I got some little news from you that maybe we could all celebrate also. You were recently named to the board of directors at FBS.
Wow.
Which I think is pretty exciting. I'm guessing you're in the garage today.
Yeah, well, that's kind of my office as we move forward. It's kind of, I work from home in general anyway, so, but why not? My kids are
in the garage, celebrating getting named to the board of directors. So Maddie, if you'd go ahead and share with us a little bit of what you guys did. We're going to do speed dating style, and if there's anything else you're still working on, hoping to roll out here shortly.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. All right, well, I think there's like really 3 points to what I would say. One is the live stream open house, the virtual open house came about. Stay-at-home orders came from California, which I live, and March 19th, we were able to work with Beaches MLS, shout out to them. Over the weekend, they actually called Michael Werzer. We put together a plan and turned it around on March 24th. And really the key element to the live open house that I think is really important for us was data integrity and quality. We focused on live events. We didn't want to make a huge technical lift on creating our own live stream. We thought, hey, you know what? Facebook Live and Zoom are already there. Let's leverage that, leverage what agents do today. But we wanted to ensure that the quality of the data happened on the open house form itself. So we're validating the URL there. And I think that's an important concept, because when we surface that data to Zillow and those portals, we wanted to ensure that they were able to see that data as it was in the RETS feed, and then surface that badge on their portals. And it just shows the value of the MLS ecosystem, being the MLS center and sending out good data to those partners. And I think that's an important concept that we tried to bring. So I think that's really what I wanted to say. And finally, I use the word live stream open house, which actually was coined by CoreLogic. So I should give a shout out to the CoreLogic team. It's been hopefully being standardized by RISO, but again, we're all competitors, but partners in this industry. We're all making an impact positively. So I just thought I'd say that too as well. And that's all I got. I think I did pretty good. I think I probably could get a date from that. I hope.
Okay, we'll track that. I hadn't even thought of that one. There has been lots of interesting conversations around the terms for live stream, virtual, open. Whew, those are fun. But I think that might be a nice segue then over to you, Amy.
Sure. Yeah. Hey, Maddie, I would take a date with you over that pitch. That was good. And appreciate the shout out. Like Maddie, I don't know, we're all going to answer virtual open house, right, at this point, or live stream open house. And, you know, in addition to kind of moving quickly to get that field in place, we put together guidance that we shared with our MLS customers that they could share with their agents about how to do it. So that agents that didn't know how to use Zoom or Facebook Live or something like that had a little package of guidance to go along with it. And I think we moved quickly. We ended up with, I think, 72 out of, you know, 128 or whatever of our customers getting that implemented in the first 2 weeks. So while everyone else was sort of taking a breath, I'm pretty sure none of the MLS vendors have been taking a breath the last 8 weeks. In addition to that, we just had a lot of customers who, you know, pulled the trigger on decisions that they'd been kind of hanging on to, maybe in their staging environments, supporting more high resolution photos, putting, you know, supporting those tour URLs in various places on their forms so that they're more visible. So just a lot, I saw a lot of MLS movement just trying to solve whatever broker pain point came out. We also did roll out, it was just perfect timing that we ended up rolling out brand new Realist to everyone over the last quarter or so, with the final installs happening in May. In addition to finally getting rid of Flash, just lots of great new features for prospecting for agents. There's a sell score in there so that they can, you know, enhance their farming activities even more at a time probably when they need it. So I'd say those are the two biggest things we've done just recently.
Excellent. Thanks, Amy. And I love the idea of just the moving quickly on the photos. Like that was a conversation I had the other day of just how much more digital was involved in this versus just like data points, but the digital increase. Tim, would you share with us next? And I feel like I have to ask anymore, is it virtual backgrounds or is that a live background? I feel like there's like a tree swaying in the background that might be.
That's a live background. So I am in the office.
Okay.
I have a tendency to be in the office so I can get more done in the office than at home. I'm sure like everybody on this call, you've got loved ones and everyone else there, cats, dogs running around. So I find sometimes being in the office, I can get more stuff done. That being said, as we saw the wave of the COVID-19 spreading across the U.S., we knew it was coming to Texas fast and furious. So we sent the guys home early and said, all right, get ready. We know that we have a policy that these guys have been working from home for years, but I said, this is going to be an extended period of time. So these guys all went home, got their environment set up. And what that enabled us to do, having these guys out there early, getting set up, is we were able to respond to our customers faster. California market called us, as we all know, as they started closing doors quickly, asked to disable like open houses, broker tours, and whatnot. So within 24 hours of getting these calls from our customers, we were making these turnarounds very quickly because the teams were established. And I would say probably all of us online today, all the vendors, we already have work from home, so I'm sure we're all set up for that. But when we sent the guys home, it wasn't just go home, get your laptop set up. We sent large screens with them. We sent them with or with a new desktop, should I say, a stand-up desk. Those guys have the environment of stand-up desk at home as well as the office. This way they're more comfortable, just like at the office. But those are some of the key things we did internally. And for our customers, having that ability to have the team established and ready to go, we were able to set communications in place and make those changes. And that's important to these guys because it's moving fast and they need changes quickly.
That's awesome. Definitely considering the team and your staff of being able to serve customers, of making them prepared. And standing desk, I got mine about 6 months ago, and reminding myself to use it is getting those little alerts. You haven't stood up in like 5 hours. So I like that. Marty, let's hear from, and I did get yours. Yours is that's real live, beautiful view out your window. So tell me.
Well, I mean, we, like Tim Ford, we actually rose to the occasion earlier on when the COVID crisis happened, and we basically sent all Black Knight employees home from the MLS. And we, I hate to admit that we've had a little practice in doing that because we've had some incidences in our office space occasionally with water main breakage or things like that, and have had to resort to working from home. So we were well practiced, and our BCP team was excited to be able to implement. So that was kind of fun to see how everything worked and the timing on that. But we also did, mostly the looking at what was happening in the industry. And I want to take the opportunity to say, I think that we did an exceptional job of this, and everybody on this call from a vendor standpoint did, is that we all listened and reacted very timely to this. We saw what was happening, and we decided that there needed to be action taken and to be proactive. And in doing so, we put most of the product plans that we had and some other things that were a priority for us in a pause mode so that we could react to what we needed to for the end users in the field. And live streaming, tours and open house, we did the similar things that the other vendors did. I think one of the things that we realized in doing this was that we also needed to add some resources to REC so that we made sure that those landed in the proper place and that they were being shown to those third-party websites out there in the portals and everyone accurately. Because if there's one thing that can happen is if you're not very explicit, things can get mixed up and put in the wrong areas. I think one of the things that we did, and maybe not unique or different, but we actually did some instrumentation in Paragon so that we could start collecting some analytics from Paragon Connect and Collab Center based on listing activity, based on client views, based on those types of things. So we did a nationwide report that we could share with our users and our MLS staff. But we also drilled that down into what was specific to their area so that we could show as the COVID crisis happened where those listing views or that activity either increased or decreased. And they were very thrilled with that, and we're working hard towards a way in which to automate that, where we don't have to push that to them. So I think that was something unique that Black Knight did. But Black Knight also, at least from a corporate perspective, we did a COVID-19 white paper that was distributed out there, and many of you probably retweeted that and read it and so forth, with regards to mortgage and forbearance and things like that. So what this has brought to light for us is that I don't think this is a short-term solution. I think people are embracing this and the opportunity to be able to deliver content in this new media and this new form, and that in some instances this is our new norm. So we, Black Knight, are got the think tank open, and we're looking at other ways that we can do things and do more of this and position everybody for what we believe is going to be the new future.
Great. Thank you, Marty. And I think we were talking about delivering that additional data of how where everybody else fits. I think that's one of the things I'm hearing a lot from MLSs is they want to know what's their market doing in comparison to everyone else. And when we had the portals on, they were like, can you tell me what's the search happening overall? We want to know is ours particular or the showing time data. So I think the more we can support the different markets in that, I'm just hearing that question a lot. So thank you. And then Brian, let's hear what you guys are doing. And I had the opportunity to be in one of the early breakout rooms with you, and I loved, you had it was like a flyer that had like red light, green light, no light, which I thought was super cool. And you got feedback from everybody in the room. So yes, please share with us what you guys have been working on.
That was one of our three main points that we did during the time with this epidemic or the pandemic, was we had a kind of a three-phased approach. One, like all the other vendors, we really focused on making sure that we had the appropriate changes to the virtual tours and live open houses. Like Matt said, supporting the Facebook Live and the Zoom and all the really popular platforms. And then in addition, we also updated our client portals and all of our public-facing sites, the client portal, IDX, public views, added the ability to schedule things on calendar and then support all the virtual tours as well. As you mentioned, we did in our custom report writer, we did the kind of the red light, green light, yellow light approach with Dom. As we spoke about in that one meeting that CMLS hosted with Dom, is MLSs were struggling on whether to pause Dom, turn Dom off, let it continue. And so we made some changes to accommodate what each MLS chose to do, because it was really up to them on how they handled Dom. So we updated our system to facilitate multiple requests. And that report was really geared towards, if you pause it, here's what it means, if you stop it. And that was a really good client and marketing tool. And then we also did, we did the open house, and we also updated a lot of our platforms, our report writers, just to really ensure that the agents out there could support their clients as best as possible during this time. And again, I want to echo what everybody else said. I think that we as an entire industry did a really great job of coming together, making those quick changes, working with the community, working with the Rezo to make sure that third-party vendors could pull all the changes. And I'm really proud of us as an entire industry that we were able to turn around so quickly, and calls like Danae that you guys have with CMLS to make sure that the entire industry comes together and is on the same page with what we're doing is really important.
Excellent. Which leads me to my next question that I would just open to the group is, as part of this, have any of you come up with ideas or suggestions to this idea that rather than getting like 555, I think is the last number I saw, number of MLSs, these individual requests, if we as an industry can start to make just a little bit bigger requests, more efficient ones, is there any things that have sort of bubbled up that you think maybe we could push forward as maybe CMLS is advancing, or you're seeing more and more requests from MLSs out of this? Amy, I think you mentioned photos. I did hear a lot about that was part of the policy request. So any thoughts on that from this group of how we can advance more efficiently as an industry, building on this?
Yeah, I think generally just making it easier, especially for, third-party vendors to get the data and or photos they need, kind of pushed in where they need them. For us, it's going to start with an integration with Home Visit, because we own Home Visit. right? Where it makes it easier for an agent to go completely from order photos to having them arrive in the MLS in a more seamless workflow. The amount of uploading and downloading of photos that agents have to do to get the photos where they need them to be is not really acceptable. So just trying to become more friendly around an efficient way to receive photos, I think, is important for us. And the same with virtual tour links and things like that. So that's kind of bubbled to the surface for us. I also think just, for us, in the important decision we made a year ago just became more important, which was to, kind of redo the Matrix client collaboration portal to be more of a place where consumers have the experience that they're looking for, but also where there's more sophisticated collaboration between the agents and brokers than there was before. So to us, sort of, we felt like, the decision we made to make that investment's been validated right now as we start to roll this summer, just really seeing the need for that, more online collaboration tools for the consumers and the agents when they can't meet at the coffee shop. Yeah.
And I would agree with Amy on that, because as we continue to move forward, right, we're not going to see normality come back anytime soon. We're probably, they keep saying, a year out, maybe two, until there's somewhat of a vaccine, until people feel safe, until even our employees feel safe coming back. We have to be thinking about, call online transactions, online meetings, processing, communication. So I agree with that. That's probably one item that, if there was any focus on, would be communications for the end users, for the members, to communicate with the clients, whether it be from the page, whether it be from their phones. That's, I think, is high priority.
Maddie, you were starting to say something?
Oh, yeah, no. So on the theme of the photos, FBS, has 40 years of experience in this industry, and we really try to apply a consultative effort for our customers, and data quality being a really key effort. Photos are being removed from listings that closed, and we thought that that's an important theme that we should resolve. And so we created a feature in Flex MLS that we just released during this pandemic to make photos private, and to allow for an agent to keep that photo in the MLS, make it private, allow for appraisers to do their business, and keep this industry with good data that's being surfaced out to our portals. That's a huge point. And to that end, surfacing those photos, videos, and virtual tours, making it efficient and seamless for the end user to see it, is just hugely important. And we've done that throughout Flagship, what we call our desktop application, client portal, mobile applications, and everywhere. So I think that theme is a really important piece. Data quality, ensuring good data is coming in and going out. That just comes from experience. And we feel, we have a client type of partnership where we want to make sure that we're contributing to their success always.
From a Black Knight perspective, I mean, some of the things that we have seen, obviously communication is very key. And what this has brought to light is features and functionality that we all, share with our message, that the user out there using it doesn't have all of those things, right? So we're better understanding what's available in the system today, and all of the great things that we're doing now. Black Knight has spent a great deal of time adding a lot of content. So we have a lot of new things in our Collaboration Center and our new Paragon Connect that we just deployed, which is the mobile version of Paragon for all agents. And so there's a lot of propensity scores, different things that we've deployed out there that some of the agents and the users don't know about. So we realized this as times have gotten a little bit slow and agents are more at home because they can't show property. They're now calling in. So we're spending, in our call times and our volumes and support are going up, but they're not going up in a bad way. They're going up in a, hey, can you show me how to get this out of the system? I now have time to find X. And it's more training and education. And so if the MLSs will take away what happens out of this, that will help us collectively educate our users more on features and functions in the system that they may not know because they haven't really had time to spend looking at it. And they didn't need those things in some cases before because the market was good and showings were going on and things were happening. But they're finding things in the system now that they didn't know that are very beneficial to them. So it's an education process too.
Well, I agree. And I think one of the big points too is this industry has really shifted over the past decade from being just a sales-based industry to a service-based industry. And in order for the agents to continue to support their clients, it's going to be even more service-based, and the features and the functionality that they use as their sales tools, as Marty said, just educating the users, getting our online education out there, and showing how the MLS, regardless of the vendor you use, is one of the most important platforms. That is the hub of our industry. And that is where all the records originate from to be able to service our customers, and in turn, they could service their clients, is really important. And I think that we are really focused on making sure that the MLS as a service tool is continuing to adapt, making sure things like media, because that's going to be really important, high-res photos, good quality data, all of those things is going to be vital in the next few months. I mean, it's always been vital, but I think even more so as things progress, and as we start to come to new normals, it might not ever go back to exactly the way it was, because people are seeing how much they can do virtually and how they could look at homes and they could see things from the comfort of their couch. So I think we're definitely in for a change. And I think everything that we've all been doing together has been really important.
Is there any feedback or requests that you guys are getting from MLSs yet that like a new idea or something that's been suggested that either you were working on, or you're like, hey, maybe we should start addressing that maybe wasn't in your system? And I think I kind of threw that one out on you guys. But as you were saying that, it's like this new normal of like, have you gotten that call that says, hey, can you guys do this yet, of helping to facilitate some of those things that you talked about?
Well, I know for us, we have taken all the customer requests, and especially during the pandemic, anything that was on our roadmap that wasn't vital to the functioning of our clients today, we sort of made sure that we shifted those resources to focus everything that we had on getting out the new features and functionality as quickly as possible. So from this point moving forward, we are taking in that feedback from our customers. We're continuing with our roadmap now and really trying to deliver all the new features that we had planned for, albeit they might be, a couple months behind, just because, you have to shift and really make all the accommodations for what's been going on. But we are definitely listening to what the industry is requesting, what our customers are asking for, and trying to build that into our future development.
Well, the name Black Knights.
Yeah.
Quarterly,
Go ahead, Marty.
some quarterly webinars, customer webinars. So we're starting to get some feedback from that, where we're keeping them on track with what we're doing, where we're going. We also have some other forums that we do, and prior to implementing the live stream open house and tour functionality, we got on a webinar with our forums, like the National User Group, MLS User Group, and our Product Advisory Committee. And so we ran those things by them. So there were some things that got tweaked out of that we got their real-time feedback on before we implemented it, and didn't go down a road that we had to change it later. So I think when you have more interaction with your customers like that, and our webinars, at least we're trying to do those quarterly, great feedback from that on, hey, you're really keeping me up to speed on what you're doing, you're giving me an opportunity to give you feedback. I mean, they can do that all the time, but having that interaction, we've gotten real good positive response from that.
Amy?
Yeah. I think, what I've seen, if I have to call out a trend, and I don't know that it's necessarily something new, but a heavier focus than it's been with our customers has been figuring out how they can move quickly to accommodate the broker needs a little more. So, this broker back office feed is, I think, a perfect example, right? We had a lot of customers move quickly to get that enabled in Trestle, just because it was an easier way for the brokers to do it. Getting public records and things like that. I mean, just things that kind of getting the word out to their members about maybe services that they hadn't utilized a lot. So I'm seeing a lot of energy around that. I think there's some super innovative ideas. We've done kind of strategic planning with about 10 customers already this year, because we all get to be at home, so there's more time to do that. And they have a lot of really good ideas. I would hope they would share them when they're ready. So I think they have some good ideas that they've shared with us as their vendor. I'd, Danae, if we have time during the little breakouts, ask that same question of the MLSs in the room, because I'd rather have them share their ideas than me share them for them.
Probably a good move too.
I don't know how many are a secret. Is that you know?
How many
we
are
all
free to share?
competitors here? So, yeah.
Well, and I think to that point, as I heard a couple of you say, like, you've paused your roadmaps of what was your own strategic plan and what you were looking to solve for your customers, listening to what those requests are. But I almost wonder if there's not some, is the topic of what this was, how can we look at them collectively as an industry and sort of meet those? Like, could you all sort of share those? It's put aside that your competitors, yes, but some little bit of sharing of, are we solving these issues collectively without like sharing the specific secrets? I don't know if that's possible.
Well, I would say, like, so, you know, because FBS is based out of Fargo, I would say every MLS is a snowflake, right? So it's kind of tough to throw that into a category of a national type of enhancement.
Did you just call MLSs snowflakes?
MLS is a snowflake from a Fargo perspective, for sure. But, you know, what I would say, I kind of want to echo what some other people said. I mean, for a pandemic, you apply smart action and speed wins, really, right? And then when you have time to digest and do analytics and do user research, then you can have a methodical approach to user development and enhancements. But there's a dichotomy there. Pandemic requires you to act fast. And then, yeah, maybe things take a back seat, like standards take a back seat, but then they evolve. And you can see that happening through some of the work groups at RISO. I think Rob Larson's heading a work group to standardize some of the methodology on these live stream open houses. So I think, you know, I agree with Amy. I think it would be foolish for all of us to throw out our ideas, because really it comes from the MLSs. And I would think everybody on this panel has way too much experience to recognize the fact that it's not us. We collaborate with our partners all the time, try to get their information, apply some user research, apply it to our vision and our strategy, and then make it happen. And I think that's the key. And again, I think breakouts would be perfect for this little topic here.
And I think back to the, you know, RISO, that's where it really comes. If we can create standardization for all the MLS vendors ourselves, we would love the idea of being able to have the plug and play idea for third-party applications. Because as Maddie says, which I agree with him, each MLS has its own flavor, and that's not going to change. Each market has its own flavor. You got coastlines, intercoast, you know, they all have certain identities that they need to maintain for those markets. And we as the vendors need to make sure that we're doing that, but we have a core of an MLS system that has all the basic needs. But even within that, within the search, within adding a listing or not, there are different flavors within that. So that's going to be hard to change for that part. But from the back end, talking about the broker data, that's going to be important, making sure that we're helping them help their customers, and their customers being the brokers and the end users.
Love it. And I think that's that balance of, you know, the basic rule of real estate is it's local, right? MLS or real estate is local. And so we're balancing that but making sure that it is that we're all not so unique that we can't find that common ground to advance our industry and evolve and innovate. I constantly trying to say we need to foster innovation as an industry while still protecting and ensuring that we have the gold star standard of data. So it is that balance, and I totally appreciate that. But it's just been great to watch and see how quickly we've rallied and moved and advanced as an industry. So with that, I think you guys have done a great job of sharing and keeping it short, but sharing some really excellent stuff with us. So I'd probably just close out here of finish up before we go into our breakout rooms, or any like just last requests or suggestions or anything you want to highlight from each one of you to share with our participants today, of either, you know, something you found you want to celebrate, or hey, I still wish we could grab this really quick and work on, or anything. I'll leave it up to you guys to share. Who wants to start us off?
I'll start.
I think yeah, go ahead, Brian.
Okay, I was just gonna say, I think as this time rolls around, in particular, it would be NAR week. So one, I just want to say I'm missing seeing everybody in person, because this would generally be the time that we're all together and talking about these things and enjoying some, bar, networking time. But, you know, as NAR comes up, it also puts into perspective the changes that we had to make as far as the MLS policy goes. and making sure we had all the coming soon changes. And so in doing all of that work and then having to shift, as Matt said, to the really quick development for the pandemic, I think what we need to do is kind of let the herd lead the way, let our customers tell us what they foresee coming, because we are servicing our customers. And we need to make sure that we are acting in an appropriate fashion for what they need to help run their business. And so in addition to doing all these kind of quick changes and the MLS policy changes, we need to know if they foresee anything else coming as the market changes, as potentially home sales changes, as the way that the agents are servicing their clients. And we need to keep an open ear to that while still having kind of our long-term roadmap in hand. So I know for us as a vendor, we had a lot of really innovative features that we were going to be adding to our mapping and tax integrations and all of these pieces that we really wanted to get out. But before we really focus on that, we also want to make sure that we're focusing on servicing the industry as a whole and making sure that we are making the changes to keep everybody going.
Great. Thank you, Brian.
And I think the one thing that I've noticed, and Marty, I love this story that Black Knight kind of put the data together and fed it back. We did something similar with our customers that are on Trestle. We're able to show the aggregate and the breakdowns. But one thing that was notable for us is that the brokers are kind of hungry for that local data in their market. We've been keeping our chief economist plenty busy, dragging him around in dog and pony shows all over the place. And now have come up with this idea that he'll do kind of a 10-minute recording each week that we're going to start sharing with our customers. But I think to the extent that I think the MLSs can take a leadership role in not just sharing that data, but trying to get someone to help them interpret it and help understand the trends, that seems to be the stuff that the brokers are really, really grateful for when they can get, I heard of some really smart collaborations between MLSs providing data to the local economic development organizations so that everybody's kind of sharing, and, MLS is local. That's what the value is about. So to the extent that you guys can think of ways that you can, partner or share that data in new and innovative ways that help everybody understand, whether it's going to be a U or a V seems to be the big argument. And I think it's different in every market. That's the kind of stuff that I'm hearing that's adding a lot of value right now. So, features are great, systems are great, but I think getting out there and helping your brokers and agents understand what might happen or what is happening in your market is just as important.
Thank you, Amy.
I got two things, if that's all right. One is, as we look towards the implementation, if you will, of the new policy, once it gets approved and getting the brokers back their data, is that we try very hard to look at simplified ways in which to do that and not to complicate it. Because I know all the vendors out there have the same challenges that we do when, policies and rules tend to convolute things a little bit to the degree that how we actually transmit and transport that data become convoluted and complicated. Is that we try to keep it a simplified approach towards that and in the delivery of it, because that also impacts the speed at which we can, do those things and convert them. And the other thing I would say is, from a vendor, I would encourage MLSs to partner more with their vendors on, I think communication is extremely key when these things happen and when these discussions are happening. And I think far too often the vendors are sort of in the background of when these happen, and then we get the information delivered and we're supposed to react. Whereas if we communicate and we're part of those conversations around policies and rules that are being made, that's the only way we are going to be able to deliver technology faster and sooner and address those needs and not be on the back end of reacting to it. So I would just say, please engage us earlier in these conversations and discussions and processes, and let us help you. Let's work together.
Totally appreciate that. And thanks for mentioning that, Marty. That was part of CMLS and recommending to push the CCP implementation back to a May date, was just to make sure there was plenty of time to have those conversations. I did hear some conversations that maybe people continued still put them off a little. I hope those were not CMLS members. I'm confident they weren't. So, but to your point, we're all working together to facilitate the marketplace, and so it does involve all of us. So thank you for bringing that up. Tim,
Yes.
any last comments or thoughts to share with the group?
You know, as I think with the same thing, we're all saying the same thing. Dealing with policies. I mean, the sooner that we are alerted for anything that needs to get done, I mean, all of our teams are busy. We're all doing roadmaps. We're all being tugged back and forth when even locally there's a policy pops up. So having just a look forward of what they're even thinking about, of what policies coming down the road, help a lot. I mean, it helps us prepare our teams, helps us prepare roadmaps for each of the customers. So I think the much notice that we can have just on ideas helps a lot.
Great. And Maddie.
So I have a little bit of ADD, so I've actually lost your question. Is it about policy or is it about what we're working on?
It's whatever you want to close us out with today before we break out of like.
Well, then I think I'm the only sales guy on this channel, so I'd probably give a shameless plug for what I'm really excited about, which is you know, our floor plan product. I think that's something that's really innovative. It's not only it's agnostic really to MLS vendors. It could be for any MLS. And it's really just a new way of thinking about an enterprise level floor plan product. And it's going to shape some data standards and compliance issues for us in terms of how we were standardizing rooms data, et cetera. So yeah, I'm really excited to see that kind of come to fruition. Other than the policy piece, I think, you know, everyone said the same thing. Let's be involved, contribute, be a part of CMLS, be on RESO, hear what's going on, and you know, make some good well thought out plans that we can work off of rather than just reactive things, you know.
Excellent. All right. Thanks, Maddie. That was great closing. I think overall, just what I'm hearing is that we're working together and we have a sort of, in general, a roadmap that we're all contributing to. And then it's really about listening to make sure we are understanding how we help to continue to power the broker to meet the needs of the consumer, because those needs are changing, right? If it is more of a digital and more of an experiential thing, how is the MLS going to continue to power that? And I said a few weeks back, just making sure that if there's new ways they want data, making sure that that is through the MLS. So if it is they're not going to outside platforms like Instagram or Facebook to get some of these things, that we're still figuring out how that's funneling through the MLS. So with that, Kelly, if you'll get the slideshow back up, I had just a couple other things we would walk through before we do our breakouts. Thank you so much to my panelists. You guys were great. I appreciate the conversation. And then wanted just to show you, I did mention our resource page, just a snapshot. There is so much stuff on there, so please go look at it. People willing to share with you. And the link, Monica did put that in the chat, so that's on there. And then the next page is still our forums. If you want to share and ask questions, that's also a member benefit to get on there. And with that, then, want a reminder that we do have our Brings It to the Table, which is May 21st. That will start 9 o'clock Pacific, noon Eastern. And we will be releasing that set agenda here shortly. I just got really excited about securing someone yesterday. We should have some great speakers for that and some really excellent conversation. So next we will be going to our roundtables. I would really encourage that you have your videos on. There are smaller groups. They're great conversations. Love seeing smiles. And it really does help foster these smaller group conversations and have the discussions for sure. And if there's anybody else from your organization or another member who maybe wasn't on, please invite them to the event. With that, I guess I would ask that Betsy go ahead and push the magic button, and we will go to our roundtables to continue discussions. And you don't have to talk about just this. You can talk about whatever. You can ask anybody in the room, and enjoy the rest of your Friday. Be safe.